Perfect.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Emery and I'm a reptile keeper and animal enthusiast. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience after buying a reptile online. I've tried multiple times now to film this video, but every time I do, I can't get my words out properly. So I'm just going to try to lay it all out there for you guys in the cleanest, most understandable way possible. I feel like I should put a tiny bit of background in here. I rescue reptiles. That is what I mostly do. I never really look for animals to buy. That's why this is such an experience for me. When looking for a new animal for myself, I still will go out and look for animals who are, in need of a home, whether that be an adoption or a surrender or things like that. So what happened to me is I bought a reptile online and it did not go well. I received my animal in pretty bad condition. I think any good keeper could agree with that. And the way the company handled my issue is absolutely disgraceful. So we're just gonna get right into it and we're gonna talk about it right now. I am not proud of my decision, but it is a decision I made and now I have to live with it. And I think the best thing that I can do from here is share my experience to possibly help one of you avoid a situation much like the one that I have put myself into. So what I have done is I ordered a reptile online from undergroundreptiles.com. Now, this company is a pretty big company. I'm sure almost all of you are familiar with it. Lots of other YouTubers and reptile keepers have had great experiences with them, as well as horrible experiences. So unfortunately, I'm one of those people who had a horrible experience, and I think it's something that I really need to talk about in order to shed some light on the company and how they handle animals and how animals are handled in these situations in general. So I bought my blue iguana online on Saturday night. And my order was supposed to be shipped Monday night and I would receive her Tuesday morning at 10:30. Well, let's skip to Tuesday morning. I'm awake at 9 o'clock. I'm ready for my animal to show up. I'm waiting by the front door. I hear the UPS truck pull up and I'm like, oh God, here we go. So I run to the sliding glass window at in my kitchen. I can see the front yard from there. And I'm looking and I watch the UPS driver take my package off of his truck. You can see it. It's green. It says live reptile, handle with care, this way up. First thing I noticed that was wrong. UPS suit is carrying it sideways, so this way up is facing this way. Not much I can do about it, not the biggest deal, right? So the UPS driver gets about 10 feet from my porch, my front door, right? And I'm watching him through my sliding glass window, and he takes this whole package in one hand, I kid you not, bowling ball tosses the thing straight onto my porch. I hear it hit the front door like somebody threw it. I opened the door and you best believe I was screaming at this guy like, what do you think you're doing, dude? Like, this is a live reptile. And he just looks at me and goes, sorry, gets in his truck and drives off. I mean, hauls butt in the other direction, right? So that was that. And of course, I tried to get in contact with UPS, but because of the current world situation and the virus that's on our hands, I could not get in contact with anybody from customer service to report this driver or report what happened to me. So that was the first thing that really set me off. Fast forward about 5 minutes after that, I bring my reptile, the box, into my room, which is my quarantine room because no other animals are housed in there unless they are in there for quarantine. I bring him in there, I set up the camera, I'm unboxing the dude, and what I pulled out of the box was just sad. Okay, my camera died, but we've got this. I just untied the top of the bag and we're about to undo it and see what's inside. So here's my box from Underground. Hi. So fast forward to the present, and I'm sitting here in my room, or the quarantine room. This is where my reptiles get quarantined because there are no other animals in this part of the house, and it is a nice, safe environment to keep them quarantined in. And this is where my Iggy is that I'm going to be showing you guys. So, I bet that you could tell from that video how fast my reaction went from, ooh, cute, to, oh, WTF, mate. And that's exactly what my reaction was. About 2 minutes after pausing that video, I was on the phone with Underground Reptiles explaining to them exactly what my issue was and what was going on with my animal. I definitely made it very clear that I was upset, that my animal was in bad condition, and that I was not happy with my purchase. So they sent me an email with a form to fill out, basically like a complaint form, or, you know, an incident form, I guess you would say. So I filled it out with what was wrong with my animal, and I attached pictures, which I will attach here for you. Upon pulling out my iguana, it took all of a few seconds to notice that the iguana was, number one, covered in feces. There was no feces in the bag. So that tells me that his enclosure, or whatever he was being housed in before coming to me, was filthy. He was covered in scabs and mites all over his belly. And let's not forget that he was paper thin. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this many wrinkles on an iguana, like just loose skin. Boy looked like he hadn't eaten in forever. So I sent those pictures, I sent out that form, and I received a call later that day from, I believe, Ryan B. at Underground Reptiles. Long story short, he said that he had the images in front of him and he sees absolutely nothing wrong with the animal. He told me that it looks perfectly healthy to him, that it's fine, that he's not seeing anything wrong. They have 30 plus years of experience with reptiles, and that's why it's okay for them to send me an emaciated animal, I guess, and not do anything about it. Basically, the only thing they offered me was to return the animal, who I already told them should not be shipped. Like, it shouldn't have come to me in the first place, and there's no way I'm going to ship it back out to you guys again. So I told them that multiple times, and the only thing they would say is to ship it back, and we'll either send you one that you can choose yourself, or you can just send it back and we'll send you a refund. And while I was on the phone, every time I would try to tell him my experience and how I know what I'm doing and how I know what's wrong with this animal, he would just start speaking over me, like loud, speaking over me on the phone to where I couldn't even hear myself talk. It got to a point where I got so frustrated in trying to advocate for this animal's health and speak for this animal that I had to just hang up on him because he wouldn't let me speak at all. I can honestly say that this is one of the worst customer service experiences I've ever had. The dude was rude. He called me a liar on the phone multiple times about what I was seeing. I mean, I have picture evidence of my animal and he's sitting here calling me a liar. Then they tried to say that they called me on Tuesday morning when I was supposed to receive my animal to check on my animal and see how it was doing. That is not true at all, and I have call logs because I called them about 5 minutes after unboxing my iguana because of how bad he looked. So when I said, oh no, you didn't do that, he said, that's absolutely not true. You're just lying. Yes, let me lie about you calling me this morning. Why would I do so? So anyway, on top of being told everything is untrue, not understanding what's wrong with the reptile, telling me I'm a liar and speaking over me, yeah, I had to hang up on him. So later, I received an email. I've got my computer here. Look at all my stickers. They're dope. But I've got the emails here in front of me that I want to read for you guys because I think this little bit of background is also very important to what I had to deal with. The first email is basically an email from me to them. It was not technically an email, but it was me filling out their complaint form or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah, so that was me. And I said, I ordered a baby female blue iguana. What I got was a baby male emaciated blue iguana who's covered in his own fecal matter with no poo in the shipping bag, mites all over his stomach and scabs. He's extremely lethargic and is barely blue. I attached 4 images, which I have like 12 from when I pulled him out of that box, but it would only let me attach 4. And I got a response from Ryan B at Underground Reptiles, and he said, "Hi Emery, very sorry to hear that. However, you did receive a blue iguana. Mites are not uncommon for farm-bred animals. The brown color on his belly is common for being kept on mulch and dirt. We would advise you to get him all set up with food and water to get him back to health. As far as sexing, how are you able to determine sex?" Now I want to take a second and point out part of this email and part of what he said. So, on the Underground Reptiles website, when you go to look for, say, the blue iguana that I'm talking about, if you click on the baby blue iguana, this is what will pop up. And below the picture and price is a description. In the description, it clearly says that these animals are captive bred. Now, if you don't know the difference between captive bred and farm bred, like he said in the email, that it is not uncommon for farm bred animals to have mites, farm bred generally refers to when people go out and collect pregnant females, bring them back to a facility, allow them to lay eggs, and then ship those eggs out or sell those eggs, whatever, to the public or to people, whatever. Captive bred generally refers to an already established captive 2 species of a male and a female breeding together to produce more captive bred specimens. So basically what he just disclosed to me in this email is that they sent me a farm-bred animal, right? Since mites are not uncommon for farm-bred animals and my animal has mites, I guess he's saying that they sent me a farm-bred animal, which is not what I purchased. I purchased a captive-bred animal. Let's move on. So I returned this email and I said, "I am the proud keeper of a healthy 1.5-year-old female wild-caught iguana. For those of you who know me from Instagram, I'm sure you know Souvenir, my green female iguana. She was given to me by an awesome person who was given her, and they gave her to me. She is a wild-caught from South Florida, and she was given to me as a baby. I'm very familiar with iguanas. If you didn't know, I grew up in the Florida Keys for 11 years. Iguanas were literally swimming in my pool on my back porch. I fed them. I handled them all the time. I'd catch them, whatever. I know my iguanas, okay? So I said, I know what a healthy baby looks like, and what I was sent is not a healthy baby. This poor iguana looks and feels like it hasn't eaten in quite some time. Its scales are torn and tattered. His belly is covered in scabbing. He's got a visible crack through one of his back toes as well. As far as sex, of course I can't be 100% positive at this age, but if asked to guess if male or female, my educated guess would be male because of the already prominent pores and spacing where bulges would form. From all the reviews and references from fellow keepers that have bought through your company, I had higher expectations for what I'd be receiving. It seems to me that very little care or thought was put into selecting this animal before shipping. In my personal opinion, this iguana was in no condition to ship. So that was the start of the argument. Let's continue. Ryan B responded to me after that, and he said, "Emery, as I had mentioned on the phone, we are more than happy to have the animal returned at our cost and refunded you. If you refuse to send the animal back, we will discount a future order to make up for this. Thank you." As if I would ever want to go through this again. I said, I can't, in good conscience, send him back, and I will not. He needs food, water, and TLC, not shipped back and forth, and he certainly doesn't need to be put back in whatever fecal-infested enclosure he was housed in. My issue was the fact that someone from your company put this animal into a bag and shipped it. You can tell me it's perfectly fine and healthy, but any good keeper would agree with me that this emaciated animal is in really rough shape to be shipped, and many people have agreed with me. The issue was never money or getting a refund. The issue is the animal's health. I could have paid $10 for him and still expected more, but the customer service provided was a joke. My concerns were not heard or resolved. I was called a liar and talked over on the phone the entire time. It's absolutely shameful. It's obvious that this company cares more about money than the health and well-being of the animals that they're breeding and raising. Gotta let them know, ladies. Gotta let them know. Also, Your website says captive bred, and you're saying that they are farm bred. There's a difference, is there not? I was under the assumption that I'd be receiving a captive bred animal. If that's not the case, then I would absolutely like a refund for false advertisement. And he said, "You're 100% right. I'm sorry for the typo. We would like animal back so we can refund you." Now that was a typo, but captive bred and farm bred is not a typo, and you cannot tell me otherwise. So I think you guys get the drift of what happened and my issue with the company without me having to go any further into the emails. I sent one last email basically letting them know that no, I'm not going to be returning this animal. I've already spent money on him. I'm just extremely upset and I'm pissed because they lied to me. I didn't even get what I received, and it's just ridiculous. They have no regard for the animal's health or safety, you know, regardless of how many times I told him this animal shouldn't have been shipped in the first place. He was just like, he's fine, they're hardy, send it back. Maybe I just love animals too much. Maybe I care too much, but I can guarantee you that if that was me, I would certainly not be having this animal shipped back and forth anywhere, especially not after seeing those pictures, which he says apparently there's nothing wrong there. Anyway, I'm really distraught and I don't know what else to say without just being completely mean and saying terrible things about the company that I probably shouldn't say online. So I'm gonna get my little baby and introduce you guys to him, and then I'm gonna end this video. I would like to real quickly say, if there is any little bit of advice that you can take from this, it is do your research when it comes to getting an animal. Personally, I would say don't buy online, but I know that lots of people have had success with that, regardless of my experience. But yeah, I would just say, if anything, if you can, try to see that animal in person. You know, it is best to be able to see that animal physically and know what you're buying. Otherwise, you could end up in a situation like me. Enough of the sad for right now. Let's introduce you guys to my new little dude. Even though he's in rough shape, he's adorable and I'm absolutely in love with him. So, let's get him. Everybody, please welcome Tavernier. This is little baby Tavernier. Tavernier is a blue or an axanthic iguana. He is just a little itty baby. I couldn't imagine he's older than a few weeks old, maybe a month or two. He's still very flighty and super skinny. I've gotten him to eat quite a bit, but he's still, I mean, just loose skin for days, y'all. It's very sad. I know he looks pretty decent right now, but that's because I've already taken some great care of him and given him all the TLC that I possibly could. Right, little bud? You can't see too great, especially because this is my phone and not a good camera, but he definitely has some issues going on with his scales here. He might have scale rot, not sure, we'll find out at the vet. He's got scabbing all over. There's a big one up here, yep, scab right there. As you can see, he's covered in some sort of stuff. The guy said it's from mulch that he was housed in, but I have lots of reptiles on mulch, and this does not happen to them. So basically, I mean, you can tell how skinny this iguana is. Not really in my phone, but I mean, these are his bones sticking out. This is his tailbone sticking out. He's extremely skinny. I mean, so tiny. This little tail, I mean, I know they're thin, but this thing is, you can tell, it's tiny. It's like a whip. I mean, they're always like a whip. I'm not explaining this well. I'm still upset. Bear with me, okay?
Ooh, that's a lovely face. I wanted to take a second to mention to you guys that I have already fed him, and that's why his belly looks so nice and full right now. It's not how he was.
Anyway, this is Tavernier, and he's not doing the best, but he's gonna do great in my care. Better than Underground ever would, right? And they wanted me to send him back. Like, are you gonna take care of him? Are you gonna deal with his fungus and his mites? I doubt it. I bet you if I would have shipped him back, they would have just thrown him right back into whatever enclosure he was in with probably, what, 30, 40 other little guys his size just trampling all over him, stealing his food. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I know this wasn't a very happy welcome back to the YouTube community for me, but I figured it was something that really needed to be said and put out there. So I hope you all either enjoyed this video or took something from it. He's obviously not enjoying this video, so I'm gonna cut this short, guys. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Emery, and have a good one.